There were times I found myself standing at life's edge, peering into an unknown that most people dared not glance at. I never liked the crowd, never felt at home marching to a tune that wasn't my own. Being a Sigma isn't just a label, it's a compass in a world that confuses noise with wisdom and comfort with truth. This outsider energy haunted me in childhood, echoed through lonely teenage years, and finally became the fire that burns under everything I write now. Let me be clear, my drive to reach lost souls isn't born from smooth roads or gentle advice, but from the bitter taste of wasted years, from witnessing lives wilt beneath the weight of indecision. Too many people never taste life's ferocity. They are lulled to sleep by routines, the quiet drone of the expected. Some daydream about escape. Fewer do it. For years I was caught in a torn net. One part craving the wild unknown, the other strangled by the fear of what would happen if I let go. I remember sitting in a cramped apartment day after day, earning just enough to survive while watching my dreams grow brittle with neglect. Every chance to change, every opening to leap stung like salt because I froze. That paralysis disguised itself as prudence or planning, but deep down, I knew it was just fear in cunning costume. The pressure to stay still wasn't shouted from rooftops, it seeped from gentle voices. Family urging caution, friends raising eyebrows at every risk, society rewarding those who play small. It taught me that suffering quietly was admirable, that ambition was arrogance, that it was noble to shrink yourself so others don't feel uncomfortable. I nearly bought the lie. But it broke me, quietly at first. The breaking doesn't happen all at once, it shows as regret, as hollow celebrations. Birthdays with nothing to show but a year older, relationships and dating. No red flag, no way. Better no than sorry. Weekends that disappear without memory. There is a soul rot that comes from waiting too long for perfect confidence, for unanimous approval, for ironclad guarantees. And if you're like me, Sigma to the bone, you can't survive that slow death. You're forced to choose implode or rebel. This is not a manifesto for recklessness. I know what pain costs. I know the sting of mistakes. But the world is full of people who will urge you to hide your ambition, suppress your uniqueness, dull your shine for fear of making others uncomfortable. If you want to find your path, if you want to help other lost souls, you cannot reduce yourself to fit a crowd. The stampede of the majority is usually heading away from truth, not toward it. The first time I ignored the whispers of caution, it was not glorious. I failed a lot. I embarrassed myself plenty. But each time I chose action over hesitation, the universe bent a little. New doors creaked open. The same voices that warned me began to fade. Their warnings lost their power the moment I started building bridges instead of waiting for permission to cross. That's what Sigma living is about. Not asking for tickets, but forging your own road when there isn't one. We live in a world obsessed with the gentle applause of fitting in. Somewhere along the way, we started equating comfort with goodness. There's an invisible virtue assigned to never making waves, to never standing out, to dimming passion in favor of consensus. I have seen once brilliant people shrink themselves to shadows, told by the risk-averse that going too far is dangerous, that self-promotion is ugly, that wanting more punches holes in the thin skin of communal contentment. But make no mistake, every system, every crowd, every stagnant community has something to lose if you begin to move differently, think differently, live differently. Those who can't, those who are afraid, cling to comfort and will resent you for daring to grow. They'll call your ambition pride, your independence arrogance, and your urge to climb dangerous. Not because they care about your outcome, but because it shames them to see you attempt what they're too afraid to. I shook free of their grip the moment I made peace with solitude. Solitude is Sigma fuel. It's unsparing, but it is where you become unbreakable. In isolation, you confront your real limits, your rawest fears, and emerge with something rare, your quiet strength. The force of the self propelling you, unhooked from external validation. That's when I began to see lost souls everywhere, people holding back, haunted by potential they've never dared to claim, manipulated by voices preaching caution, but fueled by resentment. Let's not sugarcoat what stops most people. It's not a lack of talent or resources. It's not an absence of opportunity. It's the slow buildup of excuses, disguised as kindness, mercy, humility. People glorify their passivity as if retreat is noble. But every time you settle, every time you tell yourself it's not that bad, you feed this self-infected mediocrity. You let the world of shoulds and what-ifs chain you to the dock, while the current of life rages by. Have you noticed the world's new saints? The ones who wear struggle as armor, who posture as perpetual victims, demanding applause not for overcoming, but for enduring. I see it everywhere, online and workplaces, around dinner tables. Suffering has become a form of moral leverage, more valuable than achievement, but it's a trap. When you allow loss, weakness, or past pain to buy you moral credibility you haven't earned, you build your persona on lack instead of growth. And worse, you build a society where everyone's racing to the bottom for the right to be pitied. True Sigma energy refuses this script. It doesn't apologize for wanting more, for standing alone, for risking comfort in the pursuit of more vivid life. If you want to wake people, you can't be subtle. Let the world see you take risks no one else would dare. Let them watch you get knocked down and get up alone. Let your scars become credentials. My life changed each time I stopped equating comfort with goodness. When I finally abandoned the soft chains of making everyone else comfortable, whole continents opened up. It was terrifying, yes, but alive. Every risk, every project I launched, each daring friendship, every honest conversation, they all came at the cost of counterfeit security, but the returns were real. Every time you worry too much about how you're being perceived, you bury your real message and lose the ones who most need to hear your story. The world is desperate for pattern breakers, for audacity, for those who shock the slumbering awake. Your highest compassion isn't to soothe everyone into sameness, but to rattle people out of spiritual sleep. Be the person who acts, who dares, who takes the risk of honesty. Don't be afraid to make people uncomfortable if that's what it takes to shake them out of inertia. This is not cruelty, it is necessary provocation. If you want to reach lost souls, be the thunderclap, not the lullaby. Remember, people who preach endless caution or sanctify fragility rarely have your best interests at heart. They have their own comfort or envy to protect. Don't inherit their fears. Lead yourself. Lead someone else by example. When you choose to move, you prove it can be done. When you refuse to shrink, you clear a path for others still in chains. Every day you hesitate, you lose ground to age, to apathy, to the tyranny of the complacent. There is a cost to comfort, and it's usually the life you wanted. So light that fire, in you and in others. Shock someone awake today, with your courage, your honesty, your refusal to be small. If you're Sigma, you're called to this. Not because you need applause, but because lost souls need a sign that it's possible to stand and thrive against the grain. Stop waiting for the world to change, become impossible to ignore. That's how you become the very bridge out of the darkness, for yourself and for every wandering spirit who looks up and finally glimpses what's possible. 3, 2, 1.